Welcome back to the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable. How you doing? I'm Alice Stockton Rossini. We begin with Eric Diaz. He was incarcerated when he was 17 for a gang-related murder. Now 34 years old, he is writing children's books. Now I'm talking to Eric on a shaky phone line, so please bear with us. Now, Eric, you say you've been writing short stories and poetry since you were a kid. And you're also documenting your life behind bars. So where did your children's book, Blue and Yellow Friends, come from?
What inspired me to write this was the George Floyd story, as well as the social issues that, we as Americans have encountered since the inception of the country by way of, ethnic, cultural, and religious differences. So, we as humans come in many shapes, colors, and creeds, and many of us develop preconceived notions of other people that, might look different than us, which can then be fueled by the rhetoric in our communities and the media, so these notions prevent us from getting to know the amazement and beauty that lies within everyone, simply by focusing on their appearances alone and not taking a chance on getting to know who they are as individuals. So I truly believe that in order to make the world a better place, it is indispensable that we teach our young about the importance of focusing on the inner beauty of people, which can then lead to a more friendlier and peaceful planet, rather than entertaining stereotypes, racism, and bigotry. To quote Nelson Mandela, no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. So, yeah, those are the main reasons why I came up with this storyline and the message behind it.
So tell me about this baby chick named Yellow.
So the story it takes place in a farm, and the story is focused on the importance of who people are on the inside rather than who they are on the outside or what their backgrounds are. And so the main characters are a baby yellow chick named Yellow, and the other is a baby bluebird named Blue. Both possess different types of disparities other than their different colors. Both become apprehensive of each other during their first encounter because of their differences. Yes.
So Yellow meets up with Blue.
Yeah.
And Blue is a baby too, right?
Yes.
And she hears him tweeting, high up in the tree.
Yeah.
And what happens?
So Yellow sees the bluebird, and they both look at each other. They both are wondering and they're just bewildered about each other because they've never seen another different colored bird. So the bluebird flies down to the baby yellow chick. And so when they see each other, they both look at each other and they're both confused. And so they start asking each other questions and, why are you blue? Why are you yellow? Why do you fly? Why can't you fly? And so they both begin to ask questions whether if they could be friends or not based on these differences. And so they both decide that they want to be friends based on who they are and how friendly they are and nice to one another. And so that's how they become friends, is based on how they treat each other, based on how friendly they are to one another, not based on the outer appearance of who they are, what they look like.
And it seems like they appreciate their differences.
Yes. That's what's interesting to them and that's the curiosity that piques their interest about, let me come see why this bird looks like this. Let me ask him or her questions. And so they just become intrigued and they get confused and then they become intrigued. And then they learn to realize that they like each other for who they are rather than how they look or how their outer appearance.
Now, you were able to write this in prison and then find a publisher. Like, how did you do that?
Oh, wow. So I found the publisher on TV. I seen a commercial one day and that was my problem. For many writers, finding publishing is a big problem, especially when you're incarcerated. So, so most of the times we have to resort to the resources that we have, which, have to be self-publishing most of the time. And so I saw the commercial and I decided to have my family reach out and get their brochure. They sent me the brochure. They sent me the pamphlet. I read through it and They also sent me also requested other publishers that self-publish, and Page Publishing was the one that um, intrigued me the most, attracted me the most because of their marketing strategy. And so I decided to go with them. And so, yeah, here we are.
And you were able to communicate with them through email?
Yes, yes. Initially, I had my brother. Yeah, I had my brother actually be the middleman and communicate with them due to my circumstances. But then afterwards, I reached out to them and they started actually communicating with me directly, and so that's how we began to move forward. But initially, my brother was the one that was the middleman and was the one that was making most of the decisions on my behalf.
So what's next? What's next for this book?
So currently, the only way of promotion is through my YouTube channel, Eric Diaz at Blue and Yellow Friends.
So what do? You go on the channel and talk about your book?
Well, you could go on my channel and it's actually like a commercial with a little music playing,
Okay.
and it shows pictures of the illustrations.
How excited were you when you got this book? When you saw that it was finished, when you completed this project?
Oh wow, it's an amazing feeling. It's one of the most highest accomplishments that I've made in my entire life. So there is no words to explain how excited and how proud I was, to have finished this book. And so, the amount of thought and hours that I put into the production of this book was considerably extensive and worth every second. So yeah, it's a wonderful feeling to have accomplished something of this magnitude. And, it also warms my heart to know that children from all over the country and possibly throughout the whole world are going to read my words and enjoy the illustrations and the message that it conveys. So yeah, it was it's a very beautiful feeling to be able to accomplish something like this. And so yeah, I'm proud to now also add author to my my background, and yeah, it's wonderful.
So are you going to keep writing?
Yes, definitely, definitely. I currently am in the process of editing my second children's book, and it's going to be coming out hopefully by next year. It's going to be titled Just Like Little Mouse, which also carries a message about encountering bullies and standing up for others, realizing the power and uniqueness that makes every single one of us amazing, and the power of forgiveness. So it's going to be a story that can guide children through navigating challenging times and how to address these circumstances that they might encounter in life, as we all do. Bullying is always something that's going to be happening in school, in neighborhoods, and sometimes even as we grow older. So I'm hoping that the message that this book conveys could help kids address these problems and, lessen the amount of bullying that goes on throughout the whole world.
All right, Eric Diaz, the author of Blue and Yellow Friends. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. It was great to have done this interview, and thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, I appreciate it. Blue and Yellow Friends, available at all booksellers.
A postmaster in North Carolina, Ronald Anthony, faced his share of credit challenges after he got out of the military. He shares his experience and how to avoid what he went through in his book, The War on Credit, a combat veteran's guide to credit repair. Ronald, basically, it sounds like you got scammed.
Well, the credit situation in itself for myself, and I tried the different things, programs that people were, offering for to assist in somebody's credit situation, and they didn't pan out. They was, lost money. I don't know if it was a guy that was he was called the Credit Game, and he was out of Florida. And he had this big racket going on, telling people how they're going to fix their credit, things like that nature. And it ended up he was scamming people, and he ended up being investigated. And him and his wife is in jail right now because of his tactics and the misinformation that he was providing to people. So that right there really encouraged me to, do a deep dive and find out what's really going on and what is the best way to fix one's credit. And from my researches and fixing my own credit myself, I found that it can be done, by yourself on your own, but it's something that's just not done overnight. It does take time and effort.
Do you talk about what your situation was, how you got to a point where you needed help?
Yeah, with it was just a financial situations, it was a two-income home, and so we really didn't have those issues. And then my wife, she didn't lose her job, but she was a home healthcare nurse, and so her patient had passed away, and her job didn't have another patient for her. She was out of work for like over a year, and so with that being said, I had to use credit to keep the bills afloat because, like I said, it was a two income home, and so it was tough on one income. Once you have one income now, it's tough. So I used credit, and then that plummeted my credit score. And so once they plummeted that, and then she did finally get her job back, the debt was just piling and piling. You still had to pay that stuff off eventually. And so my credit score went into the dumps. So I had to figure out a way how to get out of this slump. That's why I went to credit repair people to try to figure out a way to repair the credit. And they just put me in a deeper hole. So that's when I had to end up figuring out how to do it on my own.
So, what did you find?
That for one, it is something that can be done by yourself. You don't have to pay the credit agencies and these companies out there who say they can repair your credit. You don't have to pay them a monthly fee to repair your credit when you can do it on your own. Either way it goes, it's going to take time. A lot of people, especially online now, a lot of people are saying that the things can be removed from your credit in 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, and all of that is just false advertisement to get you to use their services. And my research, I found out that we can do it on our own as individuals, and you don't have to pay somebody monthly. Constantly paying a monthly fee every month just to repair your credit is what I found out now is crazy.
So, what kinds of advice do you offer in your book?
Pretty much just a step-by-step guide on how to do it. In the book is I made it just as simple, as easy as possible. It's an easy read, and it has knowledge in there that the average person can understand. A lot of people give you the big words and confusion with how it's supposed to be done, but I have it step by step, 1, 2, 3, ABC, and the methods to be able to do it that one I know work because I've used them myself personally. And so I just offer it to people that the average Joe, as we say in the military, the average person who are having these problems and issues with their credit, to be able to show them how to credit. You want credit to have it. You don't want to use it every day. You want something that you want to have when you need it, and fixing your credit can get you there.
What would you say is the most important thing that you need to do to repair your credit?
Well, the most important thing is you need to know where to go to get your credit report. And then most people don't realize that it's just because you have Equifax, there are 3 different credit agencies that report your credit report. So you can fix one, but if you don't fix the others as well, you still can have low credit scores. Companies, when you're applying for credit, they do go to different agencies to see what your credit score is, but you have to fix all 3. And if you've been denied for credit, a lot of people don't know that you can get a free credit report. Most places are charging you to get your credit report. So but you can get a free credit report. And one of the most important things when you do access that, you have to know what you're looking at. In the book, it also shows you what you're looking at, what to look for, what negatives are, what is hurting you, what's helping you on your credit report. A lot of people think that because they have a credit card they haven't used in 10, 20 years, but it's in good standing, they want to delete that off the credit report because they don't use that. No, you don't want to delete that off the credit report, because if you have years of good credit history, that helps your score. If you delete that from your credit report, it's going to drop your score instantly. So, I have all those things, the nuances of what to look for, what not to look for, simple things as your name, you can be wrong on your credit report can impact your credit score as well. So it just details everything to look for and what not to look for, what to take off and what not to take off.
How are you telling people about this book?
Well, right now it's been mostly family, friends, and word of mouth. I'm got my web page up and running now, YouTube page up and running, and I'm just doing parts and go through the social media aspect of promoting it. And one of the things that I do have on my agenda was to go into some of the local veteran places that they have here in the city where I live to see if there are people there that I can, offer to them free of charge to repair their credit.
Nice, Ronald. And you're going to keep writing because you had such a great experience with this book.
I'm actually, to be honest, it was kind of fun, and it also encouraged me to, because the first book is just basics of the to get you started, to get your score going higher. But then I've started writing the second one, which goes in deeper detail as far as the business aspect of your business credit, which are a lot of people don't know is two different things. Your personal credit, business credit are two different things, and so I've started writing another one on that, which has been experienced. There's a lot more information out there that I'm trying to get to the people.
All right, Ronald Anthony, author of The War on Credit, A Combat Veteran's Guide to Credit Repair. Thanks so much.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Kevin Roberts is a retired teacher writing books in Pahrump, Nevada. And at the time you wrote this book, Kevin, The Old Man on the Mountain, you were teaching reading to sixth graders, but that's not all, correct?
I taught the last 10 years when I taught computers, and I was always in middle school. Once they find out that you can handle that age group, you just can't get away from them.
Yeah, I'm sure it takes a lot of patience.
So you sound like you're from New York?
How do you know? New Jersey.
Okay. Yeah, I used to drive cab in Vegas, and I just had a way of picking up accents.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but whatever.
I lived in Connecticut for junior high years.
I bet you could write a book about being a cab driver, sir.
I did.
Did you write a book about being a cab driver?
Oh, I did. It was all sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Well, where did you publish that?
I didn't.
Oh, you just wrote it.
I just wrote it. Yeah. It
all
was,
right.
and this book that I just published now I wrote it 20 years ago, and and it was at some publishers in New York, and they dropped the ball, and I dropped the ball, and I ended up rewriting it in retirement, and I did a lot better job, I think.
So, what inspired this book? Your little middle schoolers?
Well, I was a horse owner, and a lot of the experiences in the book actually happened to me, and this community of Pahrump is wide open, rural. A lot of the people in the area have property, acres and a half. I had 10 acres at one time, and just room to roam. And there's a really strong community around Gymkhana and rodeo. So we're about 60 miles out of Vegas and on the California and Nevada border, near Death Valley.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah, so that kind of inspired the book. I also, in teaching reading, I saw a big need for this type of book. There's a lot of garbage out there, and this is is wholesome reading. And I think it reaches out. I wanted to get people out to read outdoors, instead of the digital things happening with video games and stuff. Have you ever been on a horse?
I have.
Okay.
There's nothing quite like it. They're like humans.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the girl's love of a horse is it's mythical.
Yeah. But okay, this is about two young girls, and one of them convinces their mom to check out a horse that's going to die if somebody doesn't buy it. I guess that happens a lot, huh?
Yeah. So that's in the prologue, and so that is the start of the sequel. That. So from that point, it drops back 30 years, and that mother has the experiences of the book. And her name's Kate.
Oh, so the mother sees this horse that looks like an old friend.
Exactly, and but the tragedy that happens in the book steers her away from horses. She doesn't have any for a long time until she does get that horse for those girls. And so like Katie is just driven because her parents don't have a lot of money, and so she just go, with a lot of hard work, determination. She ends up making enough money to buy a horse, and the horse that she buys is an amazing horse. And she wanted to do gymkhana. Her girlfriends did barrel racing and the other kind of competitions involved in that. And this horse is just not good at it. He's so she and while she's trying to get this horse to do the gymkhana and stuff like that, there's a couple experiences out in the desert where this horse is just a tremendous jumper. He jumps over ravines and bushes when other horses would run around him. And so she decides that well, maybe he's a jumper. So she researches it and starts training him in that area. And it turns out that the horse that she got was a papered jumping horse, and so it wasn't just by accident that he is really good. And so he kind of trains her to jump, and between the two of them they become really good. And competition comes to Vegas, which is again only an hour away, and she gets in the competition, and she wins, and she's able to bring her family back together because the dad had moved to Las Vegas, and the family was still in the rural area. And with this money, she gets together like again becomes just a fantastic jumping horse. And then there's a tragedy, and that's kind of the way the book ends. That she's never going to ride another horse. And I had met Wilson Rawls, and I don't know if you ever read where the red fern grows.
Yes.
You ever read? Yeah. So that I kind of fashioned it after that. Very sad, emotional.
But you don't leave it there. You pick it up in a sequel.
Right. Exactly. And that's going pretty good. So I wrote what I did found out was that when I first written it, I had written it in the third person. I go, oh, I went back and read Where the Red Fern Grows, which inspired me, and the author had inspired me, and I rewrote the word, the book in first person as the girl, and it came out really good.
Well, you're in, there's a lot of people who own horses where you are. Are you talking to them about this book?
Oh yeah, I've joined all these horse associations around here to help promote the book and stuff, and it's quite the community, and the book is situated in Sandy Valley, which is pretty far from here, but because it sounded better than Pahrump to me, and so I wrote it in Sandy Valley, but most of the stuff happened right here in Pahrump. So the sequel is going to be in Pahrump and involve a lot of people that are still involved.
Well, give Pahrump its due, okay? We should know about Pahrump. People like me out here on the East Coast, we should know about Pahrump. We should go visit.
So brothels are legal here in Pahrump. And so the joke is that kids in Pahrump are brothel sprouts. There's a lot of jokes about Pahrump.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of hickish.
I think that's a selling point.
It is. You can get a hold of that.
Well, I'm just curious. It sounds like you've been writing, a long time, for years and years and years. Are you going to publish the book about, being a cab driver?
Yeah, I've definitely I found like 3/4 of it, and I'd lost a lot of it, and then I've actually got some other experiences that I could throw in there. But, yeah, I could. I think after this sequel, I would probably dust that off and give it a try. Well, at the time that I wrote it, I was and I was a father of young children. I thought, I don't know if this is kind of raunchy, but it was real,
Yeah, yeah,
like I said, sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
yeah.
So I didn't kind of want that around the house.
But now,
this story was, yeah.
Now you're free.
Now, that's right. And
right.
yeah, and my granddaughter did the artwork on the cover of the book.
I'm just curious, why the title, The Old Man on the Mountain?
Okay, well, the Old Man on the Mountain is a rock formation just outside of Pahrump. It's a profile of a man laying down, and the lady that pointed it out to me, she was, oh, what a beautiful day, and we have the Old Man on the Mountain. She pointed up to me. I go, oh my God! So the Old Man on the Mountain is a sacred in fictional in the book is a sacred Indian burial area that's and these girls ride up there, and her friend is a descendant of the Indians that lived there, and that's where it happens.
It happens, which we
That's
have to
right.
read the book to find out what happens. All right. All right. You are Kevin Roberts, author of The Old Man on the Mountain. I have a feeling I'll be talking to you again.
Okay, thank you.
Walter Reed worked in IT for over 3 decades, but before that, he was a Marine on duty in Indonesia. And therein lies the inspiration for his book, Indonesia, a journal of one Marine's Odyssey. Now, you had to be a pretty young guy when you were over there.
Oh yeah, I was. So I was 23 when I got there, and then my 24th year, I was there from all of it.
Were you taking notes along the way?
Not specifically, not for writing a book. It was just my memory mainly. I have a very good memory, and I can remember detail of things that happened in my life going back till when I was about 3 years old.
Oh, good for you.
So I remembered it all, and I have actually since run into some documents that were buried out in the garage, and yeah, I was pretty accurate. I was a couple things I messed up on the timeline, but most everything the events were all correct as they occurred.
Why did you feel the need to write about this experience?
I felt I needed to write about it because it was something that changed my life, and it was something I thought other people could benefit from being able to read that. And that's what it was all about for me. It was a very special experience over there. It was eye-opening and life-changing, and I just wanted people to know that you can learn about other cultures and you can actually get along with them. It's not easy, but you can do it. And I learned that there. There was the time I saw something very, very strange. I was out shopping with my girlfriend, Nanang, who's the very prominent character in the book. And we were out shopping, and a train was going by about a block away. And as it was going by, cars started going off into the other lane. And when I saw that, I thought maybe this is happening on the other side too, because we couldn't see that because of the train. And sure enough, when the train went by, there was 2 walls of cars facing each other.
What? What?
Just over the train tracks between them. And they all just gunned their engines and hit their horns and took off in one big, massive melee. It was a real big sight. I mean, they were jumping curbs, people were running for their lives, and yet it seemed like it must have been a fairly common occurrence. It's like this happens all the time for them.
So there was nothing going on except that people wanted to get where they wanted to go.
Right. And that's the way it is there. That's what they do. They don't believe in queues. They all just rush the cashier whether it's in a department store or in a movie theater. They all just rush and push each other out of the way to get up to the cashier. So, you see all these weird things, and it sticks with you, and you really want to, is this a culture I really want to be a part of or could be a part of? I don't know, but through my girlfriend, I did. I went native, essentially, half native, because I still had my duties.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Fremont, California.
And so this was a world away from what you knew growing up.
Oh, yes. Yes. The only time I'd seen anything like it at all was when I went on a short-term missions trip to Guaymas, Mexico, back in the 70s. And that was scary. But that was the first time I had ever encountered that kind of poverty. But it does have a middle class, and it's not nearly as big as the middle class in the United States, percentage-wise, but they do have a middle class, but it's most of the people are very poor.
So when you say you went native, explain that.
When I wasn't on duty, I was almost all my time was spent with my girlfriend at her house, which was a little tiny concrete house. And I lived there with her, and I had to go out and use their toilets there, which aren't really toilets. They're just outhouses that you have to squat over a hole in the concrete.
Nepal's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had to do that. They didn't have running water. They had to pull it out of the well, so I had to help her. She had a little reservoir in her so-called bathroom, which wasn't really a bathroom. It was more of a shower room. And I had to fill up that reservoir, which was like 30 gallons. That's 30 bucketfuls of water you got to pull up and down out of the well. So it was things like that. And just living there, and I got to know some of the neighbors a little bit. And so I was basically living like an Indonesian.
Did you enjoy that?
Mostly, yes. But there were times when a man chased me and my girlfriend with a knife. That wasn't so fun. So, yeah, it wasn't all fun and games. Some of it was scary. I was challenged a number of times just for being an American. There was I was coming home with my girlfriend, and we were about to turn down her street, and we were going to walk up her street and go all the way, to her house. And there was some people working across the street, digging a ditch. There were about 4 of them. And suddenly I hear this guy yelling, and I turn around, and yep, sure enough, he's yelling at me, shaking his fist at me, and he knew a little bit of English, and he's calling me names, and he's taunting me, trying to get me to go over there and fight him. He's trying to get me riled up. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. That would be the stupidest thing I could do, is walk over to you when you have friends and you all have shovels in your hands. I'm not going to buy it. You're not going to bait me into that. So we had an exchange of words very briefly, and then I got the heck out of there because I was afraid for Nanang. If they charged us and started coming after us, I didn't want her to be caught in the middle.
Why were you in Indonesia?
Oh, I was a Marine security guard, which is a Marine embassy guard. And my first post that I was assigned to after I completed the school was in Jakarta, Indonesia.
So what happened to your girlfriend? Like, do you take us through, when you got there, how you got to know her? Is this a love story?
Yes, part of it is. Nanang and I, we met, as I related in the book, and we were together the whole time I was there. We had some issues and things going on, and we traveled some together there, and then I left. But when I left and said goodbye, we had decided that she was going to go to my next post to which was Seoul, South Korea. And I got it set up so she had her passport and everything ready. So we had a plan. And then I didn't know if we were going to be able to do it, though. I didn't know if I could pull it off, but I did. And I brought her to Seoul, and she stayed there. And I had to find a place for her to live because she couldn't stay where I was living. And then she was there for the duration that I was there. Actually, they extended me a month. So I was there 16 months. And then we were married in Seoul and I brought her back to the States.
Are you still married?
No, that ended a long time ago. She had a lot of problems assimilating here in the United States.
Oh.
Yeah, things got out of hand.
So do you write about that?
No, not in this book. If I were to write another book about my time in Korea, I would probably include it, yes.
So why did you decide to write about this now?
I did it because I'm retired now, for one thing, so I actually had time to do it. But it was something I've always wanted to do. I've carried it with me for 43 years. I was really just needed to get it out and say it. I didn't know if it would be published at first when I started writing it, but I knew I needed to tell the story. And so that's, it took a long time to do it, but I got it done.
How long did it take?
Well, I was at it for 3 years, but I was also writing another book simultaneously with that. So it took another year to get it published. So it was a 4-year journey to get this whole thing done. Was it
a good experience?
Oh, yes. Yes, it was rewarding. And the publishing, that was mostly a good experience. It wasn't perfect, but I'd never done it before, so it was interesting.
So you're going to keep writing?
Oh, yes. I'm definitely going to keep writing. Right now, going through this marketing phase with my book is really taking up all my time, and I haven't had a chance to get back to it.
So what are you doing as far as marketing?
I'm doing these kind of interviews. I'm got my Facebook page set up for the book, and I've gotten some reviews and things. I have a group of friends here, and they all knew I was writing it. I was writing it in front of them many times because I would be going to the local bars where I live here, and I'd just sit at the bar and write. And so they knew that I was writing it, and they were always asking me, well, is it out yet? Is it out yet? So I let them all know. So, and I've got family that was interested. So that's mainly who are spreading the news right now. But I got some other things working for me. I got some ads on Facebook right now, and they seem to be doing pretty good. So I'm happy about that. At least people are seeing the book. I don't know how many of them are buying it, but people are seeing it.
So where do you leave us?
I leave it as that I don't know what's going to happen. And I say last goodbye to Nang, not knowing if I was ever going to see her again. And that was the way it ended. And then I got on the plane and I was heading to Seoul. I just left Indonesia. That's where the book ends.
Oh, okay. So there's plenty for a sequel then.
Yes, there is. If I can get around to it, yes.
Okay.
I'm seriously considering it.
All right. One book at a time. Walter Reed, author of Indonesia, a journal of one Marine's Odyssey. Thanks so much.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Peter Hutchinson has done a lot of things. He put shoes on horses, made stadium seating, and when he retired, he got bored. Always a storyteller. He decided to put some of his stories on paper, and now we have Catty Kitty Learns to Help. So tell me the backstory here.
About 15 years ago, I had an idea come into my head, and my daughter's husband at the time was a writer, and I mentioned it to him, and he just wasn't interested at all. So it sat in my brain for quite a while and stewed. And one night I woke up and I just had to get it all out of my head. So I wrote it all down.
Well, where did the idea come from?
It's just a play on words at the end of the story. So it's just kind of a little whimsical thing that I think children would enjoy. That's what.
It just came to you out of nowhere. I'm trying to get to, like, how did this come about? You were just sitting there, it just hit you? What? Did something happen? Do you have a cat? What's going on here?
It's without giving out the secret recipe, I really can't explain it,
Well, all right. Here's your synopsis. Catty Kitty is settling for an afternoon nap when a friend rushes into the barn and says he needs her help. Catty Kitty wonders how she can help. She doesn't realize the surprise she's in for and the while that will make you laugh.
Right.
Caution, do not read the last 2 pages to children under the age of 5, or you may lose the while.
Yes,
I have no idea what you mean.
that's the point. It's to make you want to read the book, to find out all these questions that I'm putting up. So I guess I'll give you all the secret recipe then, if that's what you'd like.
Well, I want people to read this book. So, I mean, what was your thought when you heard you were going to do this interview?
I have no idea. The point at the end of the story, Catty Kitty keeps wondering to herself, how's she going to help anyone? She doesn't know anything about helping. And so finally at the end, through the whole time, she's wondering, me how? So she doesn't know what she's supposed to help them with, because they keep running out of the barn and leaving her.
So they're running into the barn saying, we need help, but they're not telling her what they need help with.
And then they leave quickly with a smile on their face. And you can see the smile in the book. You can see all the animals with a little cheeky smile. So at the end, they're having a little birthday party for her, a surprise birthday party for her. So at the end of the book, it says, so now you know, whenever a kitty asks for help, you will know they will always say, meow, meow, meow. That's the end. Okay. It's very simple, but it's just that little punchline. And I've actually, my brother lives in Idaho, and I gave him a book, and he's a janitor out there at school. And he gave it to the teacher to pass around to all the teachers. Well, the teachers read the book to the children, and at the end they just break out laughing when they hear this. And then every child gets this. The adults, the teachers, have had to read the book again to get the idea. They didn't even get it. They didn't get the joke, but the children did, and that's surprising. So something about it it touches a child, and I think you lose it as an adult. You don't quite get it as an adult anymore. But the point of the book, I think, is it's such a simple read that any child, it'll keep them interested enough to be able to learn the story, read the story, and then reread this story to adults, which would make adults laugh once they hear the story. I don't know why people aren't able to read it and get it, but when read to, they do get the story.
You are too funny. So you sent it out to your brother in Idaho. Are you going into any schools?
Actually deliver pizza to one of the colleges, and one of the girls' name was Kat. And I said, "Oh, you have to buy my book." And she said, "Oh, I'm a teacher going to school. I'm going to be an elementary." I said, "Here, I'm going to give you a book. Just read it and maybe show your friends." So I see her again at the delivering pizza, and I said, "Oh, well, how'd you like my book?" Oh, she says, "Oh, I thought it was funny. I gave it to my professor." Okay. And the professor read to the class, and they all laughed at the end of it. I said, "Did they laugh?" She says, "Yeah, at the end, And she said she loved the book. Okay. And her mother ended up writing a review for Amazon in it. So. Okay. I've gone to 3 elementary schools in this area just to give them a copy, let them make a decision whether they can use it or not. And so now I've made up some cards. Well, I'm having some cards made up so I can put it with the book, so it makes it a lot easier to pass it around. But I figure I'll go to elementary schools in the area and hand it out. Okay. You're doing some stuff. Yeah. Are you going to keep writing? No. I shouldn't say that. I do have some things I've written up, but you might move on to something else you want to do. Yes, there's other things. Yeah. You glad you did it? Oh, yes. Like I said, I wrote it in one night, and that night I ended up messaging it to my daughter, and the next morning she gets back to me messaged me, "Oh, Dad, this is so funny. Oh, what happens? I don't know what's going to happen. Tell me when you finish the story." So I messaged her back. I said I did finish the story. I was just too tired to finish writing it in Messenger. And here's the rest of the story. She comes back to me, messaging, "Oh, Dad, this is the funniest thing. It reminds me of Uncle Wiggily and the Little Red Hen and different other books." So she says, "You have to pursue this." Well, I didn't think of even writing, doing anything with it, but I contacted Fulton Books, and they said, "Well, yeah, send it in." So I sent it in, and they loved it. They thought it was marketable, and we'll go ahead and do this. So that's where I am.
Well, good for you, Peter Hutchinson, author of Catty Kitty Learns to Help. Thanks so much for talking to me.
You're welcome.
We hope you enjoyed this edition of the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable, where authors from all walks of life come together to discuss the trials, tribulations, and triumphs of publishing their books. I'm Alice Stockton Rossini. We hope to see you back here every Saturday night at 8 o'clock, or listen to our podcast anytime on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, and PodServe, just to name a few. The Author Roundtable is sponsored by ReaderHouse Online Bookstore, where independent new authors come first.